everyone saves adulting for another time. 3-course meals end with chocolate piñatas, and conference rooms are traded for water slides. Fireworks paint the sky every night, and happy hour can happen at any hour. Here, anything is possible, as long as you can imagine it. And that's what makes Orlando unbelievably real.
Okay, son, focus on what you can control. Everything else, it's just noise.
When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking.
I've got a lot going on right now. Let's focus. What are your top priorities?
Healthy students are better learners. Before school begins, schedule a well child visit with your doctor. This will help identify any health issues that need to be addressed. Ask about vision and hearing screenings. Good vision and hearing are key to learning. And most importantly, make sure your child's vaccinations are up to date. Vaccinations protect children from potentially harmful diseases. Make sure your child is ready and healthy for school.
Operation Backpack School Readiness is sponsored by WellPoint.
Storm damage to your roof? Let Badger Contracting reduce your stress. We are insurance claim specialists and offer 24-hour emergency now at 443 New Roof. That's 443 New Roof.
Capitol Hill to Chesapeake Bay. Giant is where you feed your love for where you play, with flex rewards and more that work online or in store to make saving worth savoring all year long. Giant, this is home.
If I were not a homeowner, I would have left a long time ago.
Some Baltimore residents say ongoing concern about crime is prompting them to consider a new address outside the city.
Alexa Ashwell dug deeper into the concerns and what a local economist had to say about it.
Witnessing the aftermath of a hit-and-run crash involving a stolen car and possibly juveniles in Upper Fells Point brought back some strong emotions for longtime city resident Tempura Bilazikian.
Where are the parents? If I were not a homeowner, I would have left a long time ago.
Farther east in Highlandtown, longtime resident Jillian Langley had a similar response after her security cameras captured an axe-wielding suspect targeting cars on her street. Here, where her neighbor says the man swung the axe through their front passenger window.
We're done. Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Yeah. As much as I love, the convenience, the good food, the people, yeah, we're just over this, especially being a mother. I don't want my daughter to continue to see this.
Done, as in moving. While the city saw historic drops in homicides and shootings and continues to experience a decline, some residents who have fallen victim to other crimes, such as property crime and other quality of life offenses, say they've had enough.
My concern is that all these people are able to get away with it. I understand that there's probably a shortage in police and that this is low on their priority list. But, this is another reason why many people are leaving the city, including myself. My house will be going up for sale in a couple months.
Census data released last March showed Baltimore City's population had continued to shrink. Here, a look at the steady decline over the years. Local economist Aniban Basu sharing his take on why.
There's the big three. That would be, in no particular order, taxes, schools, and public safety, or lack thereof. Formula is not working. It has not been working for decades.
Constant fear that we have that we're going to get carjacked, that our cars are going to get stolen. Everyone in my block has been carjacked except for me. They all left.
As for Bilazikian, she remains hopeful for better solutions, including when it comes to juveniles and crime.
We have, at the state level, we have judiciary decisions being made for juveniles that are allowing them to come right back out and do it again. And this has been an ongoing issue.
Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Just what violations can you get pulled over for in Maryland? Some lawmakers want to shrink that list, pointing to a moment that left a young man paralyzed. Brad Bell with our Sinclair sister station in D.C. has an update on a bill making its way through the State House in Annapolis.
Back in 2019, a 24-year-old named DeMonte Ward Blake was pulled over in Prince George's County for expired tags. He became combative with officers. The situation escalated, and Blake ended up on his face in handcuffs and paralyzed. Now, in a stated effort to prevent such incidents, several state senators and delegates are backing a bill which would prohibit police from pulling people over solely for expired tags, no headlights, illegal U-turns, and a list of infractions. It would also penalize police for violations. State Senator Charles Sidnor is the primary sponsor. He says his effort is partially inspired by what he calls a frightening traffic stop he experienced in rural Virginia.
This bill kicks off a conversation about, I would say, a reimagining of how we deal with traffic offenses on the highways.
Now, we'll be back at 5 with more on this proposal, including what police have to say about it. They don't like it, and one local sheriff has even made a video about this bill, a video that has gone viral. In Annapolis, Brad Bell, Fox 45 News.
Some Marylanders are speaking out about their struggle to make ends meet.
Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland takes a closer look at the state's total tax burden on middle-class families compared to the region and nation.
The governor calls his budget a pro-growth budget. Marylanders and financial experts say otherwise. Cost of living is a top concern for Maryland residents.
It's really high. It's almost unlivable.
Well, I get paid every 2 weeks, so every other week is a little difficult.
What do you think about the cost of living just in general?
It's really expensive, and I'm scared.
And in this region, Maryland can ill afford to be uncompetitive with its neighbors.
Pete Sett, president of the National Taxpayers Union, says Maryland's tax policy is likely harming the state's citizens.
Heavy taxation on any class of taxpayer starts to take a toll not only on the taxpayers' wallets, but the overall economy.
Sett added that Maryland's tax policy may be more consequential than direct payments to the government.
It's an indirect hit if the economy slows because tax rates prevent businesses from expanding or prevent individuals from starting their own businesses.
D.C. government's latest revenue study showed that Baltimore residents with a household income of $75,000 annually paid nearly $11,000 in income, sales, property, and car taxes and fees to local and state governments. The same household tax burden would be $1,500 less in Chicago, over $2,200 less in New York City, and over $2,300 less to live in Los Angeles. When combining federal taxes, a Baltimore household making $75,000 would owe the government almost 37% of their income before deductions.
I mean, when you look at the cumulative effect of gas taxes, property taxes, taxes on alcohol, okay, now they want to propose a tax on deliveries from these delivery services. All of this adds up.
Tyrone Keyes, a financial services and real estate expert, told Spotlight on Maryland that the governor's budget proposal is putting Marylanders on the financial brink.
Him calling it a pro-growth agenda, sure, if you're talking about growing government, but if you're talking about growing prosperity for the citizens, then not so much.
Yes.
Pete Sepp agrees with Keyes, adding that the governor's increases in fees and taxes on higher brackets may drive the state deeper into debt.
It's important to keep control of government spending so that you're not always putting pressure to resort to the tax lever every time there's a fiscal problem in the state.
Back in Baltimore, some say they're begging for financial relief and lower tax strains.
I'm living in a friend's basement because I literally can't afford rent as a teacher. Yeah.
What do you think that the governor's doing enough to fix this problem?
I don't think anybody's doing much of anything at all.
Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland.
Governor Wes Moore's communications director sent Spotlight on Maryland a lengthy response repeating many of the same points about the governor's budget previously received. Governor Moore's budget is focused on helping the people of Maryland. The governor's office also said that he's laser focused on growing an economy that was stagnant for too long prior to taking office. It starts with modernizing government to rein in spending and be more responsible in how Maryland invests taxpayer dollars. You can read Gary Collins' story including the full response from the governor's office on foxbaltimore.com or our Fox 45 News app. Also, if you have a story that you want our Spotlight on Maryland team to investigate, give them a call. Their number is 410-934-0837.
A former Maryland state senator says one specific component of the blueprint for Maryland's future is bankrupting the state. The blueprint passed in 2021 and pumps billions of additional state and local tax dollars into public education every year. But former state senator Jim Brochin calls the blueprint for a financial disaster. His biggest concern is a component of the law providing Maryland teachers with more collaborative time, which is time outside the classroom used for lesson planning, training, or helping students individually. The blueprint doubles this time from 20%